Episode 6, Learn to Burn. I got 20 more episodes after this. Pray for me, people! Pray for me! Although, granted, I heard the next episode is one that I'm going to like, and I've read reviews of that episode. It actually sounds pretty good. But we'll find about that later. Their royal majesties were doing their morning yoga. Okay, so I'd like to lay you a story. Once upon a time, my uncle, who works in the Royal Guard, was given a mission of grave importance from Her Royal Majesty Princess Celestia, may long may she reign, to go get the latest Songbird Serenade record, and then to get the latest Sapphire Shores record. Why was he given this mission? Because she wanted to jazzercise. Yes. The princess does not do something boring like yoga. She jazzercises. She likes to dance. She likes to get up and shake her groove thing. She likes to shake that royal flank. She would not be doing boring yoga. Alright, she likes to get up and get moving. My family doesn't agree with me, but Celestia is the type of princess who wants to think that she is one of us. And she would like to mess around and have fun. Yoga would not be her style. That would be Princess Luna's style. After returning home from raising the sun, you can do that from the balcony! How the Candelot sees you do it? They don't cheer when you do it! It helps us relax and stress out after a long day of royal duties. In the morning? That was wonderful, said Grand Ruler. I agree, said Celestia. But as she got up, she felt a small pain in her chest, just for a split second. Call the royal medical. Call the royal everything. She's about to get a heart attack. For a split second, and then it was gone. Is something wrong, darling? Grand Ruler asked. Celestia felt like she may have blown a muscle for exercising too much. Celestia's not that stupid. If she had blown a muscle, it will come from somewhere else other than her chest. I'm all right, darling. Her husband approached her and held her softly, embracing her as he embraced him. I don't know what I ever do without you, he whispered in her ear. Celestia felt the same. It couldn't bear to be separated again, like they had for 1,000 years before. You know, I still have questions about that whole backstory, but other reviewers have asked it better than I. I've only read the backstory thanks to the Wikipedia article on this thing. I won't let anything come between us. That's a promise, she said to him, while crossing her fingers and hoping that she had those knives to stab him in the back with. In the dark future, we get it. It's a dark person and it's a dark king in a dark place. Quit rubbing our noses in it. The remaining Indians were still outraged, but slightly not surprised about Demon's demise. Bad Horse found it somewhat humorous and laughed at the idea. He got beaten by a few measly ponies. He continued to laugh his head off, but the others were not amused. It's not funny, Horse, said Giant. We cannot keep losing like this. You guys lost a grand total of 3 times. That's not an impressive number. Now, you should really get mad if you start losing 15 times. Lord, why is he laughing at the idea that he got beaten by a few measly ponies? I never understand this about Sentai where the guys are slowly increasing in general appeal. It's like, what? Did you think these guys got lucky 60 times? Yeah, I love Lord Zed to death, but it was obvious he was outsmarting the Power Rangers. Other times we got Mondo and Divatox. You would think that they would realize that there may have been something to their victories. Just saying. Indeed not, said Dark King. The minions bowed in the presence of their king. Your Majesty, what shall we do? Asked Alien. You know perfectly well, Dark King snarled. Already the future is beginning to shift because of these blunders. If things continue on this path, we cannot hope to gain true mastery of all that exists, and our very way of life will be threatened. You know what would be easier to do? Attack a city where Starfleet doesn't exist! Ogre picked up a large rock in his bare hands and crushed it just like that. A normal Earth pony can do that. Why is that impressive? I'm ready to go, he said. I swear I'll make those punks pay for destroying Demon. Are you sure you're feeling it up to it, Ogre? Asked Alien. Trust me, I've got a set of condoms that'll crush them like bugs. You may proceed, Ogre, Dark King said. However, do not allow yourself to get carried away. We must avoid altering our own future as well. No problem, boss. Problem. You guys are already altering your future by being there. Have you ever heard of the usual science of sometimes a thing that's being observed will be changed due to the fact that an observation is taking place, that due to the fact that you are observing, you are already changing the proceedings? That happens a lot with alien observance as well. Meanwhile, all the ponies, Spike and Krista, were at the Palace Dojo for their training drills.
Because, of course, it's their training drills. Why wouldn't they have training drills? Why wouldn't they be at their training drills? My god, even Season 1 of Power Rangers doesn't have them at their school this often! Buddy, you got plans to take care of, don't you? Artie, don't you have something to paint? Krista, remember you're an astrologist? You like to look into the sky, watch the stars, look at constellations. It's your hobby. It's what you said to Lightning when you fell in love with him. You know, you predicted a bunch of things in the stars. You said something big is coming because of the stars. You predicted Titan. Well, why don't you go out and do that? Actually, now that I think about it, why don't you use the stars to maybe predict when the next attack is coming? Might be helpful. Now that I think about it, Starla, when was the last time you did anything involving stars? I thought you were supposed to be some sort of astrologist. You know, you like looking at the stars, reading them. Why don't you do that? Look them up. Maybe find a new constellation or something. Go, do it. I know the main six have plans. They always do, but that's because of their jobs. But also give Professor Brain to examine Lightning and Starla's transformation insignias more closely, hoping to learn more about Mega Mode power. Apparently, it's only when it's convenient to the plot. No, seriously, that's what the writer of this episode said. That these Mega Modes only come when it's important to the plot. I mean, it's rare that somebody tells these things and says it like it is in one of these episodes or these series. Most of the time, show writers will disguise it by saying, oh, well, that's because we hadn't thought of it yet, or, oh, that's because we wanted to keep it mysterious. When most of the time, they just wanted to make it a Deus Ex Machina. No. This author right here wants to say that on this episode, it's clear this only comes because of a Deus Ex Machina. And I am very proud of his truthfulness. Rarity especially needed extra training, as she was now magicless and needed to beef up her strength more than ever. She was offered many times of given a small blaster, but Rarity refused, insisting, I am a lady, and ladies do not use such trivial weapons. You know, I want to congratulate the writing on here. That's very much like Rarity. Yes, Rarity would have refused a blaster, because she is a lady. Now, before you swing up in arms, let me rephrase this. Rarity would refuse a blaster because of a quote from one of my favorite sci-fi films. Such a barbaric weapon for barbaric times. Personally, I prefer an arrow or a rapier. A more sophisticated weapon for more sophisticated times. Yes, that quote from Star Wars. Because I love that movie franchise so much. You see, Rarity is very much a noble lady. She is very much the epitome of class. So she would see things like blasters, blaster rifles, shotguns, and other big boom weapons to be beneath her, because she would see them as savage weapons. She would be much more focused on, say, a rapier, which is far more classical, or a bow and arrow. Why? Because she prefers the arts. She prefers class. And archery is a very classy type thing. The feel of the arrow being released, the way that the arrows move. As a matter of fact, I one time actually saw her practicing her archery skills to make a lovely bouquet. It was on her day off, and it was a marvelous sight to see. I was impressed. I also heard that she knows how to fence, mainly because of her training under her Uncle Esteem. That's mainly because archery and fencing work for her. That's how she handles herself. That's not true, said Starla, as he demonstrated it by shooting her bow at 5 targets, hitting the bullseye perfectly. Have I made my point? No, you haven't. Starla, that's a bow and arrow. That's a weapon customized to you, not a blaster. A blaster is a more barbaric weapon than a bow and arrow. As a matter of fact, why did you go for a bow and arrow anyway? I mean, lightning. Already I can understand brush, paint, 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 paint. Starla, buddy, whip, I can understand. Dynamite, bazookas, okay. But Starla, why do you like to have a bow and arrow? Is it inspired by your mother? Were you more fantasized by it? Did you enjoy it? How does it relate to you as a pony? I'm quite curious because you always seem to be using a bow and arrow, but I don't even see it. What? Grumbled Rarity. But Lightning assured Rarity if this is what she wanted, they wouldn't hold it against her this time. After all, he usually battled without much weapons or using too much magic, except for that rod, the caster blaster, you know that. It'll be a great chance to help you evolve and see a new sight on how to win battles. Really? Would you care to demonstrate us without using the Anticorn mode or Mega mode? Rarity was secretly just hoping to beef up her skills, so the next time she found a Phantom of Magic, she could beat him silly. 8 to 12, people! 8 to 12! Until he coughed up her magic cutie mark. Applejack felt the same way, wanting her own cutie mark back. Considering that cutie mark is representative of her family, I can imagine. The friends all continued to train and spar until their period was over. And then there was a comma, followed by a semicolon. As for Lightning, he was trying a special magical simulator, trying to control his Endocorn powers, feeling that he would be desperately needed. You need a period right over here. But each and every time, it always ended up the same. He ended up losing control and going berserk. Well, at least you did it somewhere where nobody got hurt. Fortunately, it was only a simulation, and nobody really got hurt. So what's the problem? You're not doing this where you could hurt somebody, so it should be easy. Still, Lightning's concern and disappointment, not to mention total frustration, were really growing worse. Once again, I am shocked by this. He is actually having problems. The only problem is, you and I both know it's about to end in episode 15. What? I guarantee you, by episode 15, or even earlier, he is going to gain mastery of the Endocorn powers, and it's not going to mean diddly squat to him in the end. He sat in the simulation chair, sulking deeply. Starlight and Krista saw him and walked over to him. On the bright side, on the other hand, as long as it actually gives him something to work on, as long as it just gives him something of an arc, I will almost be fine! I don't understand it, Starla. I just don't get it, he groaned. I had full control of it once before. So why can't I do it now? His wife placed her hand on his shoulder. I honestly don't know. But if you were able to do it before, then there must be an explanation. Bravo, Starla. Bravo. That was so riveting of a good lifting up. I am so glad. It was so logical that I think even a Vulcan was getting annoyed by it. Lightning looked up. But what exactly is it? I've tried, and tried again. Each and every time it's been the same story. But what is the common denominator? He angrily pounded a chair, and all the others gazed on in shock. Lightning, I really think you're going over the edge with this control issue. No. Continue going over the edge. This is actually giving you some emotion. Keep going. Don't listen to Krista. Keep doing this. You are perfectly fine, Krista. This is just fine. Lightning sighed. You're right. I'm sorry. Both of you. The girl smothered him softly. Krista let it go and pick up Princess Keen's shining armor to attend a meeting that would be held soon. Soon, everyone gathered in the throne room, except for Keen's shining armor, who were late. Stupid trains! You should have been here by now, said Grand Ruler. I hope everything is all right. You know what? This is another problem I've had with this show in general. This is coming from reading the season finales of all the shows and looking at the reboot. And that's this. Celestia and Grand Ruler seem to be in everything! Yeah. In the finales of all the seasons, Grand Ruler and Celestia show up and ruin it. They don't let the characters grow. They don't let the characters do what they need to in order to prove themselves to be the main characters. Oh, no. So I'm like, I don't even think Lightning is technically the main character at the end of each of these arcs. It's Grand Ruler and Celestia. They're the ones who finish off the most of the big bads. All Lightning and the others do is just provide their energy to them and go, yay team! Even at the end of the previous episode season, it was Grand Ruler and Celestia who were in the final battle. It wasn't, the final battle. It wasn't just Lightning. It was Grand Ruler and Celestia. It's like these two have to be in every other episode. It's like these two have to be here. Now, I don't mind seeing Celestia or Grand Ruler. My problem is, it feels like the gods are controlling too much in this story. It feels like the deities have taken over and are not allowing us as ponies to grow. One thing I love about Celestia is that she gives us chances to grow and to become better ponies. She doesn't continuously control us. That's one thing I've always been inspired by Twilight. It's that she rose up and was able to handle it without the hands of a god watching over her. Sorry, I had to get on that little tirade. Finally, a small portal appeared. A Cadence shining armor appeared to Krista. And Cadence never learned to teleport spell. Why? Sorry we're late. We had a little bit of a problem, said Krista. Oh, what sort of problem? I'm starting to have the feeling that this writer hates me. Oh, that's not a problem. That's obvious. It's the weirdest thing, said Shining Armor. And he explained how he had a hard time convincing Cadence to come to the meeting. And Cadence nodded her head admitting it. All the others thought this behavior to be most baffling. Did the narrator become British or something? Is everything all right back home? Well, maybe if you visited the Crystal Empire more than once a year. Cadence didn't answer. She seemed circuitive and nervous. Celestia knew her better than most. She could tell something was wrong. But still not important as their main order of business at the moment. That is your niece! You go over and you check up on her, Celestia! The meeting was held to assess everyone's knowledge of the enemies, preferably Dark King and his evil minions. Evidence was weighed, talked about again, and ultimately there was no other explanation, and everyone else was inclined to agree. That we should ditch this whole entire mystery and go back to actually having character arcs and actually having Lightning examine his Enticore mode and actually proceed to talk about our feelings and emotions. They come for the future, our distant future. Or we could be restating the same thing that we have stated again and again and again and again and again and again for the past 6 episodes! Those agreed, everyone was still astounded, even their majesties. And again, it explained everything. We never stood a chance against them before, said Rarity. They have mastered new skills and forms of magic we have never seen. That's why our advisors were unable to detect their powers and weaknesses. Wait, so the advisors just tell you their weaknesses off the bat? Wow, what a way to make the fights too easy there, mister. I want every single fight to be 80% of the story. They also have at least a century of training on them. Maybe even a millennium, added Ari. Still, they had know exactly how far in the future they were looking at. The real question is, ultimately, what to do about them, says Spike in place of Artie. We may have beaten Demon and all his cardinal beasts, but I got a feeling there's a lot more of them to come after us. You're a bloody genius, Spike! You may be right, Spike. You may be crazy, said Celestia. But we also need to know another great question. Why are they attacking us here and now? And why do they always seem to be attacking specific places? Because they're evil and they want to, and they only want to attack places that are important to you because they're evil. Pinkie Pie raised her hand, crying, "Oh, I think I know, me. Yes, Pinkie. Pinkie took in a deep breath and spoke really fast. Maybe their water supply has been contaminated and all the food's run out. They have no place to live or any comfort, so they're coming here to take over our world because we have all the things they don't have. And the reason they attack us is because they want it all for themselves. It makes perfect sense. I'm with Pinkie Pie's answer! I'll take Pinkie Pie's answer because that would give the bad guys death, development, storyline. Actually, now that I think about it, Pinkie Pie's answer would be a really good arc. Great job, Pinkie! That would fit so well, because that would actually give the villains motivation beyond, we're evil. That would give the villains sympathy, that would actually make us relate to the villains, that would make us understand the villains' side. Pinkie Pie, you are utterly brilliant! Beautiful! Oh, Pinkie, I love you. I love you too. Ah, Pinkie! How did you get back into this vet room? Oh, I just wanted to watch you do the vlog of this particular episode. Oh, is everybody listening? Yeah, Pinkie, they are. Hi, everybody! Oh, gotta go. Bye, Pinkie. Yes, people, Pinkie Pie just said hi to all of you. I hope you're... You look stressed. Pinkie Pie hug? Pinkie Pie hug. Thank you, Pinkie. You're welcome. Boing, 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 boing. Everyone else was shaking, literally feeling all choked up. So, are they crying or are they only angry? Are they mad at her for coming up with a reasonable solution? Oh, wait. I forgot to show. They're all mad at her. They all are angry at her because apparently everybody on this show hates Pinkie. You're required by law to hate her. You're required by law to be picked up to insult at her and not think her comics are silly. By the way, this is actually a good Pinkie Pie thought, but way too logical. If you wanted to do Pinkie Pie's dialogue correctly, she should totally guess what they were off the bat. But that is another note. Make Pinkie Pie feel bad that everyone seems to hate her and despise her comments. It's a very well thought, Pinkie, but I don't believe that's the answer, said Grand Ruler. Rainbow Dash suggested, maybe we could go look for him. Maybe we could come up with a spell that could take us forward in time, or we could search each year. I'm with Rainbow Dash's plan. But then again, Rainbow Dash is the one who usually makes sense when I'm suffering through these bad stories. That sounds like a good idea. I'm with her side, too. No, it isn't. Of course Starfleet wouldn't be! Do you have any idea how long that would take? For all we know, they could be hundreds, maybe thousands of years away. Then search for their energy signature! You guys obviously have encountered them before. Just wait until one of them comes up with attacks and use brain. You know, use your resources. You have brain. He's apparently a genius. Use him for genius things. Oh wait, I forgot. The last time Brain did anything genius-wise, he exploded the palace. And you guys banned him for doing something smart. Raimi was inclined to agree. Oh, you're still here? There's far too many for us to track. And besides, we can't go forward in time, just back. The others realized this. The only one that ever really known about time spells was Twilight. She only ever traveled back in time about 1 week, and she only saw images of the distant past. Traveling backwards in time was hard enough, but traveling forward was another thing entirely, and possibly too dangerous to even experiment with, even for their majesties. What? Time out! Time out! Again, you have a genius. You have a freaking guy who is willing to practice and experiment on all of this, and you're not letting him experiment just because it might be a little dangerous? Are you guys cowards or what? Just because it's so dangerous is not an excuse to say, oh, well, we shouldn't experiment on it. Just because it's a little dangerous, you're going to basically whelm and say, nope, can't go forward in time. Nope, not going to explore it. Nope, not going to try your experiment. Nope, 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 nope. Might cause us bad injuries. It's just a little too dangerous. My God. What do you think Starsword and Bearded would have discovered if he looked at every single spell he ever invented and said, nope, not going to do it. Nope, too scary. Astor Corsair, the inventor of the prismatic spray spell, would have never discovered that spell if she suddenly went, she was too scared. Mimic would never have invented the Ultima, the greatest, most powerful unicorn spell known to Humankind, as he just said it was too dangerous. Bravery is not something you could just run away from. I thought you guys were supposed to be some sort of brave warriors. But maybe you're just chicken. Spike felt a little down. It reminded him of how Twilight was gone, and all others shared his soundheartedness. But they knew they had to be brave for the planet. Well, except for Pinky. Since it was Twilight, Pinky just immediately froze and shivered, trying her best not to cry. Because she knew how much they hated seeing her cry. She knew how much of it was a sin for her to cry, so she just held back, trying to hold back her strength. All she could do was just look at them. She could feel their steely gaze upon them. She then looked back to her friends and wondered if they felt the same way. But she resisted the urge to say so. But still, she couldn't resist a little tear rolling down her cheek. And a little sniffle. And besides, all the others would be feeling bad too, even worse for the main six. It was best decided to continue trying to research, come up with clues or answers that would help them, while at the same time continuing to protect the planet. Which brings us to another item, Sun Lightning, the Phantom of Magic. Has anybody ever noticed how boring this whole entire conversation is? I mean, really boring. We're just explaining things we already know about. We're just discussing things we already know. According to the writers of this show, they wanted the fights to be 80% of the series. Okay. They wanted to focus on the mysteries. Okay. But the best way to keep a mystery going is by, 1, having good characters, which the writer has gone off saying that he doesn't care about, so there's that. But 2, keep the plot going. If you want to make this a plot versus character thing, that's okay. Some shows actually do prefer to go plot over character. But make the mysteries a little more interesting. We, the audience, already know the answers to all this. Right now, the characters feel like they're just following around and trying to follow the plot when we know the answers. So thus, it's not interesting to us, the viewers. And what's more, this just feels like we're repeating the same things that we're saying over and over and over and over again ad nauseum. And it's getting boring! The Phantom of Magic. The Phantom of the Opera! Verity and Applejack clenched their fists angry at the mention of that. Softly felt down by their flanks, with still or blank under their pants. Hey now! Okay, up a point for making me think of Applejack's sweet flank. It seems like every time we corner him, he manages to overpower us and slip off. Well, mainly he distracts you, but whatever makes you sleep at night. Yep. What's more, he seems to be getting stronger with every bit of magic he steals. Worst part is, we don't even know why he's doing it. Because he's evil. That's the only motivation a lot of these villains have. First I shivered.
You don't think he's playing world domination, do you? With all that power, who knows how unstoppable he'll be?
Yeah, you might have to do what this show always does. Call in Grand Celestial Ruler, have them fight for a bit, have them feel down, have them get a power boost because of Deus Ex Machina, whether wins repeat. The Spanish twins disagreed. I don't even think it's that simple. Even without that power, he hasn't really done anything but take more power. And Might agreed. He must be gathering the magic for something else. Like he is waiting for something. But what? To sail down to pennies? Whatever it is, it can't be good, said Shining Armor. We gotta catch this guy. Maybe set a trap for him. No, just Shining Pants!
Well, we know he usually only maneuvers at night, and he's only interested in ponies that have cutie marks,
said Cadence. This is to narrow things down. So this meant creatures like space alicorns, dragons, fairies, and even statues like Goldwyn were only in less danger. Zebras, on the other hand, could go suck it. Oh, zebras don't have cutie marks. They have glyph marks. I should know. I guess I took a trip to Casablanca once. I got to learn a little more about their stories, a little more about their history, and I even met the queen. Oh, you guys are gonna flip if you know who her daughter is. She promised me to keep it a secret, but I know who her daughter is, and if I could ask, maybe the queen will give me full permission to reveal who the princess of the zebras is. It's gonna rock your world. Ooh, I feel worried about them all out there, said Goldwyn. You know, I almost feel lucky now I can't go outside. But what do we do about them? He had a point, too. As was said, even if the friends managed to get the Phantom in their sights, he proved to be really strong and powerful. And you guys have super speed, and you have super strength. But you know what I haven't seen so far in this story? Any of that! Even able to paralyze them on the spot, so they couldn't even try to fight back. Yeah, they're ponies, but we have seen him just run away from the other Starfleets. Hang on here, said Applejack. Ain't we forgetting one itty-bitty thing? He's an Earth pony. You're right. There's only like 1,000,000 Earth ponies in Equestria. Everyone caught on our idea, and even their majesties approve. We organized a search of every Earth pony on the planet to unmask the Phantom. Just find out who he really was, by sensing for magic. Wait. So you're willing to search out the millions of Earth ponies on Equestria, but searching through thousands of years is too extreme, and testing the world for magical interference, that's dangerous, but holding every Earth pony hostage is, yeah, that's kind of scary. It sounds rather extreme, having to suspect every Earth pony as a potential suspect. Yeah, it kind of is! Because right now, from what we've seen, the only Earth ponies that are off the list are Carrot Cake, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Diamond Tiara, maybe Filthy Rich, and Shirley. It could be anybody right now. It could be Carrot Top for all I know. It could be Berry Punch. No, wait. It was Berry Punch we would smell the liquor. How about we do other things to narrow the list down? But I see no other way. And at least it would help narrow the field even more. You mean by thinking about his coat color? And as we look at him? Right then. We'll organize a worldwide search immediately, said Grand Ruler. He sighed. I just hope the citizens don't feel like we are trying to harm them. Oh yeah, I'm going to see that. I can see that going over well. Citizen, I need to check you. Citizen, I need to check you. Aren't you holding us hostage? No, of course not. Now bend over, sweet cakes. Yeah, police are not going to agree with this because
This is racial profiling and a little extreme and sort of kind of evil. Especially if you have nothing else to go on, then he's just an Earth pony. That's kind of racist. Cadence and Shining Armor agreed to pass the same order for the new Crystal Empire. Isn't that like saying the suspect has a blue coat? Then we would suspect everybody who had a blue coat? I mean, using an Earth pony, that narrows the limit down to 1 million ponies! Thus then, Professor Brain came from his lab, after spending quite some time analyzing all he could about the Mega Mortal powers. But again, his results are inconclusive. Why, thank you, narrator, for repeating the same thing that you said, about a page ago. I'm dreadfully sorry, but I'm afraid that all there is and nothing more I can do on this case. I've never seen technology like it, although it does seem to operate on the same forces as our normal methods do. What kind of methods is that? Do you work on the morphing grid? You're not going to explain, are you? Nira's all sighed, but it wasn't as they expected. Knowing the Mega Mode was obviously from the future as well, just like the super strength that everyone had gotten, enforced by a magic spell. At least they knew why they were given it, but didn't know who gave it to them, and why they couldn't tap the power at will, and why it strained their energies just for a short while. Plot convenience! I'm sorry. I really wish I could help you more, said Brain. It's alright, Prof. We understand. We don't think less of you, said Shining Armor. Keyes agreed, but as he opened his mouth, he started saying things. Awful things! Narrator, calm down, man! You don't need to get excited about almost everything! The entire room around her seemed to be falling in pieces before her eyes, and all her friends and family were disintegrating to nothingness at the very sight of her. And those two voices were calling out again. Look what you're doing, Princess. You're a jinx, a curse, a wicked omen. Is this what you want to have happen? You might want to leave and keep all this bad luck to yourself. If this is coming from the future, people, your idea is about as stupid as King Endymion's. Yeah, King Endymion's plan was kind of stupid. And no, I never did like the breakup arc on Sailor Moon R. It was just so pointless. So badly done. Cadence was breathing stressfully to trying to contain herself. Cadence! Cadence! Shouted Shining Armor. He snapped her out of her trance to see everyone was looking at her with deep concern. Cadence, what was that about? Asked Lightning. What? Cadence asked. He sounded rather groggy. It's the same way you acted as soon as I picked you up, said Krista. Her Majesties gazed at their knees deeply. Cadence, if something is bothering you, you need to tell us what it is. Is that you, God? King Titan, is that you? Have you finally come to bring me up to heaven? Cadence shook her head. I'm fine. It's nothing. Don't you try to hide anything, Cadenza, Grammarler said. When he called her by her title name, everyone could tell there was no arguing with him. Title name? That's her given name! Shining Armor has been sending us letters about your restlessness and agitation. But, Uncle! No buts. Cadence, we all care about you. Well, Celestia does. Grammarler thinks you can go to hell. And we all think you're dreadfully disturbed about something, said Celestia. So you might as well tell us what's wrong, because we'll find out eventually. And we really only have 26 episodes to really flesh out this plot, so hurry up and just get it over. Shining Armor gains changed on his wife. We want to help you, please. Everyone else gazed at her with the same look of concern. So Cadence told him everything about her nightmares, and how she had been having them while she was awake, like just now, and all the unfortunate accidents that have been ever since she went. No, stubbing your toe is an unfortunate accident. Slipping on the sidewalk is an unfortunate accident. It still hurts, by the way. This is death from Final Destination going. How could it be sillier? I don't think they're dreams. I think it's the truth to warn me. I am bad luck. Cadence, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, snapped Lightning. Well, it's so obvious that yes, but, why try to help her through, things like hugging and holding each other? I know the writers try to say that this isn't about friends and family, that this is Starfleet, it's about warriors! But soldiers do treat each other like family. They do treat each other like friends. And soldiers do have moments where they hug and and control each other and tell each other it's going to be alright. That is part of what makes a team, is that love and compassion and friendship. Without that, you've got nothing. See, this is why, even though the writers tell me, oh, but this is a team. They use teamwork. Yeah! Look at them using their team attacks. No, that's just a team attack. That's just them working together. I could help a person write a story, but that doesn't make us friends. He's a coworker. When they do those cooperative attacks, they're just helping each other. You know what would really make them a team? Is if they did hug. If they did talk to one another. But they don't. Even in the small time frame that this show has, you could show things like laughter and kindness and compassion. That would help you. But no, these are not friends. They're just teammates. Though I detest speaking ill not to royalty, I agree completely, Rarity said. You cannot also take these pitiful dreams so that seriously, darling. You're not bad luck, princess, especially to any of us. Added Fluttershy. Oh wow, look at that! The main six are the ones that are speaking with compassion! What a shock! No, wait, it isn't a shock. It's what the main six would do anyway. The others are acting like jerks. You battle luck. That's the worst I've heard of it. I refuse to believe a word of it. And you don't write the same word, Raimi! One by one, the others all added their sentiments to the same feeling. But suddenly felt a huge chandelier high above the table, broke off and crashed down. Rarity screamed in bloody murder at how close that was, and Fluttershy held high in the air in fright. Probably the only time I'm actually going to allow the Fluttershy scare moment. Dios mío! Cried the twins as they tried to condense their breath. Easily, Cadence was the most frightened, as he felt responsible for this. Everyone knew the chandelier was brand new, and the chain was in perfect shape, and the ceiling was good and strong. Surely, once again, the future ones are only bringing peace and happiness to us all. Their Majesties couldn't understand. You see, I told you! Everywhere I go, something like this happens. You all could have gotten hurt! Even though you have super durability, super strength, and super speed, you could have caught it in a second. Enough, Cadence! Yes, I could still see Celestia being such an asswipe that she would snap at her niece. She apologized for snapping as she was taken by the accident. Cadence, I don't know how this happened, but it's not your fault. Please stop blaming yourself. Why didn't anybody use telekinesis? Yeah, I just thought about it, but the armor, the chandelier, all of that can be solved with telekinesis. Maybe that's super fast. Fly, 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 fly. See? We're freaking Pegasi! We can fly! We can do things like soar through the air and manipulate clouds! It's what we do best! It's still a baffling mystery to everyone, but before they could investigate, the alarm sounded. Goldwyn rushed to the window and peeked through his telescope. There was something headed this way, he cried. The ponies all gazed at their majesties. Go! Snapped Grand Ruler. Did you really need to be told to go save the day? Did you really need to be told that? Lightning nodded, and everyone leapt out of the windows down towards the village. Once they were gone, Celestia and Grand Ruler gazed at each other and nodded, then used their magic to raise stronger shields on the buildings below, to at least avoid collateral damages. Hooray! Once again, no consequences, people! Come to see the fantabulous show that offers no consequences, no ramifications, and no, it's absolutely no problems whatsoever! While at the same time, Krista helped a squad of fairies keep the feelings of safety. Come on, keep moving, she yelled as the ponies hurried along to the portals. Okay, Krista, we'll take it from here, said Lightning. Krista nodded and all advanced to the portal herself. No sooner had she gone than all the friends transformed while they had a chance. Once again, Krista adds nothing but a benefit. She is a great warrior like the rest of the others. Just then, they felt the ground give a huge lurch. You rang? No lurch. This is Starfleet. You can go. Starfleet? No. Followed by another, and the collapsing of trees, whatever it was that got closer. Here it comes! Cried Lightning. All the others stood ready. Lightning's friends got out their weapons and held them tight. Tighter, tighter, tighter! Snap! Take it! And all at once, a giant blue ox-like creature, coated in armor, lifted the trees and roared at everyone. Babe! Everyone gasped hard in shock, some in fright. And Fluttershy, yada yada yada. I think you guys know the truth by now. As a matter of fact, I think you could probably fill in the blanks of what I'm about to say. Fluttershy would fly up to it. She would actually control it. Very good. Who's that? She cried. Hey, Paul! Paul Bunyan! The greatest lumberjack of them all. Hey, Paul! Hey, Paul! Paul Bunyan! Look at his forehead, said Spike. Everyone could see that black stained crescent moon. 3 black stars of red eyes. According to the writer, this is not a ripoff of the Dark Moon Clan's insignia. It's supposed to be based off of Luna's insignia. To which I say, bullcrap. Yeah, it's still the insignia. It's still similar. Just be honest, it's the Dark Moon Clan, and we'll be fine. That's the same Mark Demon had. Ogre heard that. He glared about it all. So, you're the punks that destroyed Demon, he snarled. Well, now you're going to pay for it. Go get them, big bull! No. It's a blue ox. I'm not calling him Big Bull. I am going to call him Babe. But that's not my name. Whatever. My love will always be with Babe the Big Blue Ox. The Cardinal roared and began to charge. Scatter! Shouted Lightning. Thank you, Napoleon! And everyone leapt out of the way as the big ox slammed hard on the ground. Lightning then leapt up on high, kicked the ox in his huge face, but that hardly hurt him much. Uh-oh, he peeped, and was grabbed and flung hard to the ground. Again! 8 to 12. Lightning! Cried Starla. Remember, folks, Starla, big, brave, badass, so far has been caught by a snake and has spent most of her time crying out for lightning. The only badass thing she's done was walk through the fire. He was okay, but just that one hit did him a ton of damage. Pathetic. You're preaching to the choir, you ogre! You haven't got the muscle to meet my partner. He's built for muscle. Ox snuffed angrily and slammed his foot against the ground, causing a small quake, but enough to knock everyone off their feet. You all have wings! Use them! Well, this can't be good, said Applejack. Earthling! Babe shouted, and in a small tremor, he pelted the gang with many large stones, damaging him all harshly. I know this is supposed to be a secret of mana technique, but I don't care! That was for Demon, growled Ogre. So, he wants vengeance for his friend, he cares for his friend, he has felt anger and enraged and determination, but remember, he is a soulless entity with no heart. Please don't tell the writer about Kingdom Hearts. It would blow his mind. So does this. He acted like a cowhand riding his faithful steed, the way he commanded him to charge and stomp and bash his fires. Elsac and Buddy Rose tried to lasso the legs together, but the legs were too big. You know what would make this fight interesting and actually cool? Is if Applejack and Buddy Rose, I'm going to give Buddy Rose credit here, both leapt on top of Babe and proceeded to ride him like a couple of cowgirls. That would be awesome. But I'm not a writer. And both ended up getting kicked hard enough to have stars spinning around their heads. Yes, because that's still how you tame a bull, not by writing it. Raimi, Ari, Starla, and the twins flew up high towards Babe's face and fired their attacks. Drill quill. Paint bomb! Star shower! Boom, boom, the rockets! All the attacks hit and resulting in a small explosion. Demon roared as he shielded his eyes, but when the smoke cleared, look at that. Not a scratch! No, really. I'm utterly shocked. I'm surprised. Babe snuffed angrily again and thrust his huge head at him. Look out! Shouted Starla, and he all stood out of the way to use horns. No one does it to my friends! Snarled Pinky, and she literally grabbed the bull by the horns. That joke was bad and you should feel bad. Getcha! Vasily was rocking and jerked about as Bull shook his head figuratively. Beat it, punk, snarled Demon as he reached back to sock her hard. But Rady went up quickly, grabbed her friend, pulling her away. Rainbow Dash came storming straight for Ogre. Sonic Reboom! You know, not that I wouldn't imagine Dash would be calling out her techniques just because she thought it sounded cool, but why would she even need to call out her Sonic Rainboom attack? She doesn't really need to do that. Cutting him hard and knocking him clean off his ride. Crashing turned on the ground below. Although, Rainbow Dash taking out Ogre like that? Nice job! Not so tough that you ride, ain't ya? Rainbow mocked. Ogre got up and turned red in anger. You pay for that. Oh yeah? Bring it. I love you, Rainbow. This is why you're my second favorite pony. But my heart will belong to Applejack. You're second place if Applejack ever gets together with, say, that caramel guy. I'll fall for you next. And she dashed over to Ogre, but only for him to simply raise his fist at him and run into it. You know, Rainbow's not that stupid. She would fly over. I mean, it's not like she doesn't have wings. Use your advantage. Use your abilities. That's one thing that's boring about this fight. They have wings. They have horns. They have various attacks. Why not? Why is everybody else so standing still all the time? Move around. Move to the side. Strategize. Have a little more conversation. Have some variety with the attacks. Find different ways to establish the abilities in the fights. The reason I was trying to figure out while I was flying around why these fights seem so boring, whereas a good Power Rangers battle is more interesting. I think I finally have it. In Power Rangers, the fights are more action-packed. They're more energetic. They're more, jumping around, and there's more attacks, variety. Here, so far, it's been the same thing. Everybody just stands around, gets attacked, waits for a bad guy to make his next move. That's not really entertaining, and that's not really interesting, and doesn't really drive me into the fight. You may chase up the characters, but there's really nothing here. A fight should be interesting. I should be able to differentiate Raimi's attacks and Raimi's style of fighting versus everybody else. I should be able to be into the fight. If you're going to make your fights 80% of the story, then make them fun. Make them interesting. A good fight should get me into it. Oh boy, do I have a headache, she groaned. And that's not how you do it. Let's get him, shouted Spike. And he, along with many others, charged at the bull together. Anybody ever feel like Spike did the exact same thing at this exact same point back in episodes 4 through 1? Dragon Flame Wheel! He said, curling himself into flames. Spike launched himself at Babe's chest, climbing right into him, but hardly even thinking to make brute flints. Babe merely thrust his chest out, flinging Spike right into the others, knocking him over like bowling pins. What, no bowling pin noise? Sorry, guys. Apologize later. Here it comes! Cried Buddy Rose. Jim, I'm missing. As command, Babe's horns fired magical diamond-shaped rockets at everyone, creating massive explosions. So, how does that fit with his element and his characterization? It's no good. We need a Mega Mode power. Not just any Mega Mode power, a Mega Mode power, cried Sarah. But sadly, neither he nor Lightning's insignias were starting to grow. We gotta keep fighting. Maybe that'll wake him up. Or maybe you can wait until Dino and Mike power up. What? It says learn to burn. It's obvious they're the next ones. Or better yet, maybe we can tire him out, added Dino. See, then it'll be easier to cross. The others agreed, and the fight waged on. But Babe proved to be a really tough contender, hardly breaking much of a sweat, while his attacks continued to crush them all. We've got to! Keep going! Why is my sentence broken up? Cried Rarity. Ogre was enjoying himself. You morons, you can't make a brute tired this easily. Why, he's so big, you could crawl on for days. Well, that's why Babe the Blue Ox is awesome. Too bad you don't have that long to live. That's why he jumped in to beat up the friend some more. Stop calling him that! Went after Fluttershy first, grabbing her, picking her up, and intended to squish like a grape. Never heard that metaphor before. But Raimi came into her head, high kicking under Ogre in the side, not really hurting him, but forcing him to drop Fluttershy right into his arms. Wow, our strong, powerful Fluttershy, everybody! Let's hear it for her! They smiled at one another, but Raimi turned to face Ogre, who was stomping towards them. Big mistake, pal. Raimi stood tall and fierce. I'm not your pal. I'm your foe. When you disgrace Fluttershy, let's go. Fluttershy stood by his side, giving him her angry stare. Which we know will be useless! Oh, ain't that sweet. Not. Oh no! Not the dreaded knot! I haven't seen that used since the 90s! Grumbled Ogre. I could take on a whole army of you creeps. Let's go. So, ever have a chance to have more mature dialogue than something that doesn't sound like it came from a bad 90s cartoon? Then again, most people say all my writing and all my dialogue sound like it comes from a bad seinen manga. I like to say, no, my writing and dialogue come from not only bad seinen mangas, but bad Final Fantasy games. The fight was on, and just as Ogre punished, as tough as he was, maybe tougher than his monster. He punched, bashed the ponies hard, even grabbed Raimi's sword, and actually tied it like a knot, like it was made of simple string. Oh man, again with the breaking of the sword! Raimi was outraged, and made his sword vanish so it could repair itself. Must be nice having a self-repairing sword. You may have tied my sword in a knot, but it's not the only thing I've got! Ogre growled, but he found that some of the arrows were surrounding him. Let's all kill him once! Snapped Pinky. Yeah! Hollered Applejack. But Ogre's eye gave a small twinkle. Twinkle, 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 ding. Aw, he's Santa Claus! You're making this too easy for me. He chuckled wickedly as his eyes began to glow, and the friends began to glow as well. Oh, don't tell me he's going to play ping-pong balls with them, cried Rainbow. She tried to ask for it anyway, but she only seemed to be going barely at half, giving Ogre the perfect chance to suck her higher and again. The others tried to rush him, but found they could only move at half speed too. And considering the fact that they just walk and run like normal civilians, means that they were moving at a turtle's pace. I know, according to the writing, that they have super speed that makes them able to run around the galaxy at, such and such speed, and give the ability to run around the Earth several different times, and they can run several times faster than the speed of light. But have you really seen that in the show? Have you really seen them run super fast? Do things like create after images, create mirror images. Have you really seen that yet? You thought a demon's special ability of energy absorb was rough. Well, my speed down has effect is just as nasty for you. The other fights? Well, so far we've only had 4. We didn't get hit by the rays. We're struggling to tire Babe out. But he didn't seem to be growing too tired. A little sweaty, but that was about it. The friends were growing exhausted, but still no sign of Mega Mode power. Lightning! It's so good! Our suits are almost depleted! Is that on your visor hub or something? Because I've never quite understood how you knew this. Just keep going with what little power you've got. Thanks, Napoleon, great. You're truly one of the greatest soldiers ever. Our boulders headed towards them, but this time they were ready and used their attacks. Whirlwind spin! Ares twirled his staff, creating a powerful gust of wind to slow the rocks down a bit in their path. A lot of the others who attacked the rocks. Galactic projectile! Boom boom flare! Unite force! Radiant and Spike used their super strengths, but their assault their extra training, forced two of the boulders away. But Babe still had plenty of steam left. Chill missile! Swerve! Shouted Lightning, and everyone swerved to dodge the oncoming missiles best he could. But Rarity got hit and went crashing down. Rarity! Shouted Spike. Of course it's the girls that get knocked around. He dove after her to catch her in his arms, a couple of missiles gaining on him. He caught her just before she hit and swerved upward, causing the just to miss. Spike! Cried Rarity. She gazed up at him almost lovingly, and he gazed down at her, buzzing behind his helmet. Another missile hit them both, crashed them both to the ground. Hey! Cut it out with disparity, alright? No! Shouted Lightning. Smoke clear, he could see they were okay, apart from their suits powering down, and both of them looking beat. Or just really, really tired considering the impact of the damage in this show. Earth slide. Bull sent more boulders right for him, but Buddy Rose and Applejack saw this, and lasted them both out of the way in time. Oh, really, Applejack? Was that supposed to be Rarity? You could have done this more civil. Well, excuse me for slaving you. That's a little out of character for Rarity here. None of you are safe, not by a long shot. The team all stood where they were, panting heavily, each of them only having a bit of power left, and the powers were completely drained when Ogre punched them swiftly, causing their suits to power down. Lightning, Starla, Artie, and the twins still suited, but they wouldn't be for long if they got hit once more. Thinking quickly, Artie used the last bit of his magic to fire a few spatters of good paint at Bates' face, blinding his eyes. That's the best I could do. My power's too low. He powered down his suit by himself. All the power left to do was fire those splatters of paint without them exploding. Okay. Time out. Time out. I've seen plenty of reviews of this show, but here's one question I don't think anybody has asked. I don't recall anybody asking this, but for the Starfleet members, Starla, Buddy, Army, right, and the twins, does the power come from themselves or the suits? One would say, well, from themselves, of course, but we see it's mainly the suits that do the power. Because if it comes from themselves, then why are they saying, my suit's power's too low, I gotta turn it off, and then they're unable to do their magic spells? It can't be coming from them because that would mean that was an internal magic. If it was an internal magic, then they should be talking about their mana, should be talking about how much their mana works, and all that. But they're just saying, my power's too low, which means it's an external power source. So that means it's not their internal spells, but from their source. But then again, in the movie, which apparently is canon, and asks so many questions, I don't want to be in the race. In the movie, we see that all of Starfleet's power for their suits, their weapons, their tech, come from this ancient, magical, mystical energy cell mumbo-jumbo, what have you, that lies deep within Camelot that's easily grabbable if you are a strong enough bad guy. So technically, all that power comes from them, comes from that source. And apparently gives off specific energies to those people that gives them their powers. Okay. Then what determines who gets the power? What? Does Ari say, I really like paint. Okay, suit, give me paint power. Does he look at the gem and say it? Does Grand Roller just go, you're suit and your name happens to match the power of paint. So here's a transformer that'll allow you to access the powers of paint. Bravo. Do they choose this at graduation? Do they pick this up later? What if the guy whose name happens to match his power doesn't want a transformer that gives him the power of what his name means? Wow, Starscream, you have the power. Your name matches sound, so here's sound power. Actually, I kind of really want firepower. Nope. Now that I think about it, if it's not internal power, then, and it's an external power, then why is the idea that lightning can't use magic such an important plot point? I mean, this is part of his character. He can't use magic, only the Uniforce. But since their suits are an external power, then why can their suits use the magic spells, but when their suits deactivate, they got no more power left? If it's an external power, then the idea that lightning can't use magic is a moot point. It doesn't matter that lightning can't use magic, because apparently the suit's doing the magic. It's not an internal power source, it's external. And that there's this big gem that's giving them their suit's powers. And again, who determines what they get? Do they ask for it? Do they request it? I've actually read Wikipedia summaries of seasons 2 and the movie, and I still don't get it. How does Starfleet Academy work, especially when it comes that these 5 guys are the main people on the front lines? What about the past generations? Ogre couldn't stop chuckling. I don't know why Demon had so much trouble with you guys. This is almost kiddie play to me. Right now, I'm feeling like this show's actually made for 3-year-olds. The Earth glared angrily at him. They were still able to stand, but hardly able to fight. Ogre stomped his way forward, eyeing all the fiends, who were inching back. Brave warriors, people! Who's the first to go? He growled. The team was too tired, still under the spell of the speed down to get away fast. Lightning and the others wouldn't be able to get them all out there. The mega bow power was still nowhere in sight. Just as all hope seemed to fade, Babe was still fuzzing and fizzing to get the paint off his face. He managed to fling some of it off, was splattering onto the ogre. Yuck! Get it off of me! In his fizzing and fuzzing about, he stepped near one of the small fires caused by the battle, igniting the paint, sparking and flaring. Your paint is flammable? Artie? That's terrifying! Look at that! Cried Pinky. Everyone caught on, and so did Ari, and began throwing more wads of his paint magic over Ogre and Bull. Ew! That's it. I'm all depleted, Ari said. The Spanish twins were still low on power, but instead, grabbing 2 flaming branches and threw them at the baddies. Sparks and flares burst over, severely damaging them both. Ogre decided to split before he got destroyed like Demon did. So, does this answer your question? He sights and runs away. Lives to fight another day, he shouted as he vanished, leaving the monster behind. Babe looked severely weakened, but still not defeated, and nobody had enough power to use to finish her. Until Dino Might and Cecilia started glowing. Ay caramba! It's working! Cried Dino. Well, what are we waiting for? Snapped Might. They both transformed together, into their mega forms. They both felt their powers return to full, even higher than normal. Now it was time to try out their new attack. They both held hands and struck out the other's hands, shouting, Red fire! Blue fire! The color flames burst from their horns. Why are you here? Do you even know yourself? Falls about you, leaves about you. Good versus evil. Time to... Oh, sorry. I'm seeing Red versus Blue, and all I can think of is Red versus Blue music. The boys shouted together, Fire Stick Twister! Said the powerful blaze babe, engulfing him in flames, just scurrying him back into his card, was fell to the ground and the picture faded. The boys' suits also powered down and they felt exhausted again, more than before. Boy, are you okay? I said boy! The boys gave him a thumbs up, and everyone was grateful that the fight was won. Just the same, he barely made it out this time. And they were right about Dark King sending stronger creatures to face them. Well, you know about the predictability of this plot too. Well, at least he learned a little more about them. That regardless of their powers, there were ways of being their conventional means, outsmarting him, just like when they had fought Demon and Dark Scales. Let's get back to the palace. We got to tell our majesties, said Lightning. Meanwhile, back at the motel, everyone saw everything, and were very pleased and relieved that the battle was over. Although minimal damages were caused in the area, it wasn't so serious it could be easily fixed. We must get the repair ponies working once. Man, considering all the damage to the cities, those guys must be raking in the dough. Celestia agreed. I'm glad that's over with, said Shining Armor. Keynes and Goldwyn agreed, but they stood side by side. Goldwyn's mask suddenly came right off without explanation. Of all the bad luck that's been happening through this story, that was the lamest. Goldwyn! Cried Cadence. Shining Armor picked the mask and inspected the straps that had snapped off. An easy fix. But Cadence began to look like he was having that worrisome feeling again. Cadence, you didn't do this. Quit giving in to nightmares. I don't know if I can, Cadence said softly. Yes, you can. We're going to help you. Don't know how, but we will. So I smiled, and they both worked together and fixed the mask. When he placed it back on Goldwyn's face, reciting a magic phrase that brought him back to life. What happened? Goldwyn asked in shock. My mask. It suddenly came off. He was fine anyway, but Cadence was still nervous. It felt his bad luck got any worse. She didn't know what she was going to do. In our next episode, the ponies carry out their search of the Phantom of Magic by scanning every Earth pony in United Equestria. Some of the fiends are sent to other planets to investigate there. During the search, Ari comes across a strange family. And their fiends begin to search the Tenson. When danger lurks around the corner and the family's in danger, what will Ari's family think of him then? Don't miss the exciting episode of Starfleet Magic, a broken art. And this is me doing my review. This episode, yeah. Well, not as pointless as the previous one. Still feels like the writer of it had simply realized, oh my god, I have about 26 episodes and I still need to fill it in with this. Because the only thing that really gets moved along are the Dark King plot, where he sends the henchman Dozua, and the Cadence plot. Beyond that, there's really nothing else. It just repeats everything we have learned. It just tells us everything we already know in the story. It doesn't really tell us what's been going on, or it doesn't really establish anything new. Instead, it just wants to tell us the same thing over and over again. Almost like the writer is afraid to trust his audience to remember things that they learned 6 episodes ago. Like, the writer is afraid for his audience. And considering the fact that this is supposed to be an 8 to 12 audience, you are talking down to them. And you don't talk down to cults or fillies. You need to respect them. You need to understand that they can handle some of this harder stuff. Like, for instance, Avatar is one of my favorite shows. And it knows how to talk to kids on their level, while at the same time bringing out some really deep and good morals about war, what is right and what is wrong, life or death, and knows how to give us what we need in its story. This feels like it's trying to go, I better repeat this stuff so that way the kids can understand it. And that kind of fails. Once again, we fall into a lot of different traps. Again, nobody really earns the Mega Mode power, and sadly, it's the twins, who, amongst the underdeveloped characters in this show, they're like top tier, right above Raimi. Yeah, I have a lot of problems with the twins. They are underdeveloped, they don't really feel like they belong there because everybody else either has been affected by tragedy or has something they need to follow, like a legacy or something. Raimi, of course, also feels like he doesn't belong there, but I think I'll save when I get to this episode why I feel like Raimi doesn't belong there. But these twins just showed up in one episode, and really, all they've ever done throughout all the series, besides the one episode that focused on them, was to show up, fire their boom boom rockets, and just say, "We're done, bye!" And more so here. The monster was kind of really uninspired. While everybody else had at least something unique to design, this was just big blue ox attacking. The same goes for Ogre. You would think that a guy basing himself on strength would have something more impressive than slowdown rays, like, say, superior strength or something. Instead, his special ability is just, I'm slowing you down. And of course, no compassion, and nobody else really seems to want to actually do anything other than just let the bad guys attack them. That's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed in this season is that this is very that for all their talk about being heroes and warriors, they're very much okay. When are you guys coming in at us? Where are we? And that is very, very disturbing thought. Well, the next episode actually looks like it might have some character development. Let's see if we can actually get something interesting here, people. See you then. Guess you mean cookies! Oh, thanks, Pinks.